from an artist's perspective, do you worry about that? Do you worry about being authentic?
I'm authentic. I mean, this is me. So I care less and less about working so hard to please, say, a super ignorant culture or super foul people. But I don't think the cause of people coming to you is authenticity. I think we recognize patterns and we feel comfortable in our culture. So sometimes we put on the robe of culture to disguise, you know, we're sheep in wolves clothing. So you're saved, but you put on the skin of this fallen society and kind of Trojan horse. That's how Frodo and Sam got into Mordor. They dressed like orcs.
Yeah.
They were small and unnoticeable, and that's what allowed them to deliver that blow to the beast. So I don't mind if you're using tactics of like the decorator crab, of camouflaging in the world making film, and you're just really there just to do a reverse knife kick, right when you get close enough to the heart or whatever. I think the problem is most of us, you take on the skin of the world and you realize, hey, I can fit in pretty good around here. And then it's
Right.
tempting because
It
you
becomes
go,
your own skin.
yeah, and you never end up dealing that death blow. You've been
Right.
camouflaging the whole time. And now what's the difference between you and everybody else? You look, act, and talk just like everybody else. So
Yeah.
I probably sound like I'm contradicting myself on that, but I don't think being authentic will cause people to come to you because there's too many people who lie who cause people to come to them. And sometimes
Yes.
authenticity is how you lose all your friends and drive everyone away. In a world that only values lies and you're the only one telling the truth, you are incredibly unfashionable. But you do still have a job. I think you have a job to be authentic and to tell the truth. And I want you to show up in your work so that you're not just replaceable with any other person who says the same kind of dumb, safe stuff. I really like people, and I like when people show up and I like when madmen kind of blow everything up. Like you go,
Yeah.
oh man, now that's a human being. That guy's not a slave to anyone.
He's alive.
He's alive. Takes a live things swim against the grain, Chesterton said. Only a live fish can swim upstream.
Yeah.
Dead,
One of my
dead
favorite
things
books
go
ever.
downstream.
Yeah. One of my favorite books is Man Alive, also
Oh,
by
yeah.
Chesterton. It just kind of expounds this principle. How do people become alive if they aren't at the moment? They feel kind of stuck in their lives.
Stop fearing failure. Stop fearing risk. If you count the cost, you'll do nothing. And worry will not buy you one more day of life. So I just I don't want to say people should be like suicidal risk takers, but I think we're too risk averse. Even podcasters, you look at all of them, I just go, no one is showing me real vulnerability, and it takes vulnerability for us to have intimacy. And if you don't show vulnerability, it's because you don't trust your audience. You don't trust people. You're like, if I am vulnerable to this person, they're going to use it against me if I ever tell you the truth of who I am. So I actually think there's a place for people being vulnerable, maybe not in public, but
Yeah.
some level of vulnerability that's more vulnerable than just putting on all the makeup and putting on a show.
I think that's probably for a private life, not as much for a podcast, is kind of my personal view.
I don't know, but like Jordan Peterson, we like him, and he's pretty vulnerable. Guy's
I can only handle so much,
practically
Jordan.
crying on every episode.
Yeah. This is
He's
true.
not guarding himself and trying to look cool.
Well, he is, but he's trying to look cool, disguised as not caring.
Sure. I mean, the two-toned coat was a giveaway.
That was the moment for you.
The Joker coat.
Yeah. No, I think there's too much vulnerability at the moment. I think there's too many people being expressive about their feelings.
Everyone's bleeding all over you.
Yeah, everyone's just emotionally vomiting all over the place.
And you can use that can be used also. You already know there's a weaponization of that too,
Yeah.
of the kind of the fake kabuki tears and even fake anger.
Right.
Emotional manipulation. It's why I like Doug Wilson's preaching. The guy doesn't raise his voice. I would be screaming all the time if I was him, but he's just like laying it down,
The
reading his
most relaxed
sermon.
person.
Yeah, I really respect kind of guys that, and that's probably a much older form of wit because he reads P.G. Woodhouse and so much Chesterton that it's
Love
much
P.G.
older than
Woodhouse.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to lay down this thing that is so factual. I don't have to back it up with a whole lot of emotional manipulation.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need more of that and less vulnerability, less emotions.
Less public emoting.
Less public emoting would be fantastic, I think, for all involved.